The sound of glass cracking beneath a designer heel silenced the ballroom faster than a gunshot. 300 guests turned toward the dance floor, where a black smartphone lay crushed beneath the silver stiletto of Seraphina Vale, the billionaire's fiancée. Beside it stood 29-year-old Amara Cole, a black maid in a black and white uniform, her face pale but her spine straight. Seraphina ground the phone again until the screen splintered. "You thought you could record me," she hissed. Amara's hands trembled. Senators, celebrities, investors, and old money families watched in silence. At the far end of the ballroom, billionaire Lucas Harrington slowly lowered his champagne glass. He had not heard the argument. He had not seen what was on the phone. But he had seen the look in Amara's eyes. It was not embarrassment. It was fear. Seraphina smiled, certain she had destroyed the only evidence that could ruin her. Then every chandelier dimmed. The giant ballroom screen flickered to life. And the SameVideo began playing before everyone. "Tell me where you are watching from, and stay until the end," because the woman Seraphina tried to silence had uncovered a secret that would not end with a broken engagement. 6 weeks earlier, Amara arrived at Harrington House before sunrise. The estate stood above the Hudson River outside Tarrytown, New York. Amara had worked there for 9 months, long enough to recognize lies and forbidden doors. She needed the job more than anyone knew. Her younger brother, Deshaun, had earned a place at a culinary school in Manhattan. Their father had died before seeing the acceptance letter, and their mother's small pension barely covered rent and medication. Amara had promised that money would not bury Deshaun's future. So she cleaned chandeliers before dawn, polished silver after midnight, and accepted every extra shift. Lucas Harrington was different from most wealthy men she had served. At 37, he controlled a global cybersecurity company and appeared on magazine covers beside words like visionary and ruthless. At home he was quiet and unexpectedly kind. He remembered that Amara took coffee without sugar. He drove the elderly housekeeper home during a snowstorm. When Deshaun's tuition deadline was extended, Lucas quietly arranged extra paid hours for Amara without asking questions. That kindness made Seraphina dangerous. Seraphina Vale entered every room as if applause should begin automatically. She was beautiful, polished, and famous for charity galas. She had moved in 4 months earlier with 6 garment racks. To cameras, Seraphina was warm. To staff, she was a storm. She snapped her fingers for water, sent meals back untouched, and once forced Amara to scrub lipstick from a carpet while guests laughed. Lucas never witnessed those moments. Seraphina made sure her cruelty remained private. Then she noticed Lucas trusting Amara. It began with a locked tablet. One evening, Lucas rushed into the library searching for a presentation device. Seraphina tried 3 passwords and failed. Amara, who had seen Lucas use the same date on a storage keypad, suggested the anniversary of his mother's foundation. The tablet opened. Lucas thanked her. Seraphina stared at Amara as if she had crossed an invisible border. After that, small punishments began. Amara's shifts changed without notice. Her locker was searched. A vase appeared broken beside her cart. Seraphina accused her of carelessness, but Lucas refused to deduct the cost from her wages. "You defend her every time," Seraphina said that night. "I defend facts," Lucas replied. "There is a difference." Amara heard from the hallway. In houses like Harrington House, becoming visible could be more dangerous than being ignored. The real trouble began 2 weeks later. Lucas was preparing a merger between Harrington Cybersecurity and a European defense contractor. The agreement would place encrypted government systems under his company's protection. The engagement gala was scheduled for the same night the merger would be announced. Seraphina suddenly took interest in the preparations. She asked which executives would attend. She wanted access to the media room. She insisted her own events team control the ballroom screens and wireless network. Amara noticed because she cleaned the West Study, where Seraphina held private calls. One evening, while dusting outside, Amara heard a man's voice through the half-open door. The transfer has to happen before Lucas signs, he said. Seraphina answered. It will. His system will be open during the gala rehearsal. And the access key. I'll get it from him. If he refuses. Seraphina laughed. He won't know he gave it to me. Amara stopped breathing. She did not understand the technical details, but she understood tone. This was a plan. She stepped back, but the handle of her cart struck the wall. The voices stopped. Seraphina opened the door. Were you listening? She asked. No, ma'am. Seraphina looked at Amara's apron pocket. Give me your phone. Why? Because I asked. I left it in my locker. Seraphina smiled without warmth. Good. Keep it there. Yet she had no idea how far Seraphina's secret betrayal had already spread. That night, Amara told herself to stay out of it. She had no proof and too much to lose. Then Deshaun called. His culinary school account had been frozen. Someone had anonymously reported that his tuition deposit came from stolen household funds. By morning, Seraphina was waiting beside the servants' entrance. Problems at home? She asked sweetly. Amara stared at her. You did this. I have no idea what you mean. You searched my records. Seraphina stepped closer. I warned you to stay in your place. Curious people often discover how fragile their lives are. Amara wanted to scream. Instead she asked, what are you afraid I heard? For the first time, Seraphina's expression slipped. Then Lucas entered the corridor. Seraphina immediately turned, tears gathering in her eyes. Lucas, thank God. Amara just threatened me. Amara stared at him. Lucas studied both women. What exactly did she say? Seraphina opened her mouth, but he raised one hand. I asked what she said. The tears vanished. Amara realized he did not fully believe her. Still, she had nothing she could safely reveal. Nothing happened, Amara said. I need to return to work. That afternoon, an envelope appeared beneath her locker door. Inside was Deshaun's tuition statement and a handwritten message. Quit before the gala, and his future survives. Amara should have resigned. Instead she bought a second phone. For 10 days, she recorded every conversation she could safely capture. She filmed Seraphina entering the media room after midnight. She captured the unknown man connecting a black device to Lucas's private network. Finally, during the gala rehearsal, she recorded Seraphina saying the words that changed everything. Once the screen goes dark, copy the defense files. Lucas will think the breach came from his own company. By morning, he'll lose the merger, and I'll own the evidence that can save him. Amara stared at the recording. Seraphina was not merely stealing data. She was preparing to destroy Lucas and then control him with a solution. As Amara backed away from the media room door, a hand closed around her wrist. Seraphina stood behind her. Her eyes dropped to the phone. Then she smiled. Now, she whispered, I finally know what to plant in your room. Seraphina's fingers tightened around Amara's wrist. The corridor outside the media room felt completely silent. Amara could hear the ballroom speakers being tested downstairs and the beat of her own heart. Give me the phone, Seraphina said. Amara pulled back. Let go of me. Seraphina shoved her against the wall and reached for the device, but Amara twisted sideways, keeping it away. If anything happens to me, Amara said, the video still exists. It was a bluff. The phone held the only copy. Seraphina studied her, trying to decide whether she believed it. Then footsteps sounded nearby. Seraphina released her instantly. Lucas appeared carrying merger documents. He stopped when he saw them. What's going on? Amara almost fell, Seraphina said. I caught her. Lucas noticed the red marks on Amara's wrist. You caught her. She slipped. On a dry floor. Seraphina hesitated. Amara could hand Lucas the phone and end everything. But before she spoke, Seraphina smiled. I think Amara is upset about her brother. Lucas turned toward her. What happened to Deshaun? His school is reviewing his tuition payment, Seraphina continued. Apparently there are questions about where the money came from. Lucas frowned. What questions? Nothing important, Amara said. Seraphina looked at her with quiet satisfaction. If someone is accusing your brother, my attorney can help, Lucas said. No. The word came out sharper than Amara intended. I mean, thank you. But I can handle it. Seraphina touched Lucas's arm. She wants privacy. Lucas looked unconvinced, but his phone rang. We'll discuss this later, he said before walking away. The moment he disappeared, Seraphina grabbed Amara's phone and slammed it against the wall. The screen cracked. Amara reached for it, but Seraphina dropped it and brought her heel down. Glass snapped beneath the silver stiletto. Again. Then once more, until the phone became broken plastic and glittering fragments. You should have quit, Seraphina whispered. Amara stared down at the destroyed evidence. Tonight, security will find company documents in your room, Seraphina said. By morning, everyone will believe you tried to sell them. Your brother will lose his place at school, and Lucas will never trust you. You won't get away with this. I already have. Seraphina walked away. For several moments, Amara could not move. Then she remembered Deshaun had connected the replacement phone to his cloud account. You lose everything, he had joked. I'm backing it up. Amara ran to the pantry, borrowed the cook's tablet, and logged in. Most recordings were there. The final media room video was missing. It had been made only minutes before the phone was destroyed, so the upload had never finished. Then Amara noticed a folder marked Shared Devices. During rehearsal, the phone had briefly connected to the ballroom's wireless display system. A temporary playback file remained on the media server. The video had survived, but retrieving it required access to the control room, now guarded by Seraphina's private security. Amara called Deshaun from the kitchen phone and told him everything. When does the gala start? He asked. 7. I'll be there by 6. No. It's too dangerous. Then why did you call me? Amara closed her eyes. Because she was tired of carrying the secret alone. Bring your laptop, she said. Use the catering entrance. At 5:45, the mansion filled with flowers, musicians, photographers, and servers. The ballroom screen displayed the Harrington Company logo while technicians tested the sound. Seraphina moved through the room in a silver gown, smiling as though nothing had happened. Deshaun arrived in a borrowed catering jacket, carrying a laptop inside a delivery bag. Amara met him near the laundry corridor. The server keeps temporary files for 24 hours, he said. If the video reached it, I can recover it. They entered the service passage behind the ballroom. A locked door separated them from the control room. Amara used a housekeeping master key. Inside, dozens of screens showed live camera feeds from across the estate. Deshaun connected his laptop. Amara watched the hallway. Found the folder, he whispered. Is it there? I think so. Progress bar appeared. 30%. 42. 58. Footsteps approached. Amara closed the door and held the handle. Hurry. 81%. The handle turned from outside. Open the door, a man ordered. It was Warren Pike, Seraphina's events director, the same man Amara had recorded discussing the transfer. 94%. Warren slammed his shoulder against the door. The lock shook. 100%. Deshaun disconnected the cable. Got it. The door burst open. Warren entered with 2 guards. One seized Deshaun. The other grabbed Amara's arms. Warren opened the laptop, deleted the file, then removed the memory drive and crushed it beneath his shoe. You people never learn, he said. Deshaun smiled. Warren noticed. What's funny? You deleted the copy, Deshaun said. Not the scheduled broadcast. Warren's face changed. From the ballroom came the sound of 300 guests applauding as Lucas and Seraphina stepped onto the stage. Then the giant screen behind them flickered. Seraphina's recorded voice filled the ballroom. Once the screen goes dark, copy the defense files. Warren ran toward the control panel. Amara blocked him. Downstairs, the applause stopped. On the screen, Seraphina continued speaking. By morning, Lucas will lose the merger, and he'll come begging me to save him. Lucas slowly turned toward his fiancée. Seraphina's smile vanished. But before the video could reveal the face of the man helping her, every screen went black. Warren had cut the power. Then the emergency lights came on, and security began dragging Amara and Deshawn toward the ballroom. Seraphina pointed at them from the stage. "They hacked the system," she shouted. "Arrest them both." 300 guests watched as Amara was forced onto the dance floor. Lucas stared at her, torn between the woman he planned to marry and the maid being accused of destroying his company. Then a message appeared on his phone. It contained one frozen frame recovered from the video. The image showed Seraphina handing Warren a black access device. But behind them, reflected in the media room mirror, stood someone Lucas recognized immediately. His own younger brother. And he was holding the master encryption key. For one stunned second, Lucas could not breathe. The frozen image on his phone showed Seraphina passing the black access device to Warren inside the media room. But reflected in the mirror behind them was Lucas's younger brother, Evan Harrington, gripping the master encryption key that should never have left Lucas's private office. Evan stood only 20 feet away in the ballroom. He wore a navy tuxedo and the same charming smile he had used all evening, but when Lucas looked at him now, that smile disappeared. "Let them go," Lucas ordered. The guards holding Amara and Deshawn hesitated. Seraphina stepped down from the stage. "Lucas, you can't be serious. They broke into the control room and hijacked the screen." Lucas held up his phone. "Then explain this." He turned the image toward the guests. Whispers spread through the ballroom. Evan moved forward, laughing nervously. "That picture proves nothing. I was checking the rehearsal system for Lucas. With my encryption key," Lucas asked. Evan's face tightened. Deshawn pulled free from one guard. "The full recording is still on the ballroom server. Warren only cut power to the screens. He didn't erase the system log." Warren glanced toward the side exit. Amara saw it. "He's going to run." Before the guards could move, Warren shoved through the crowd. He reached the service corridor, but the elderly head housekeeper swung a silver serving cart across the doorway. Warren crashed into it. 2 guards forced him to the floor. Seraphina's composure cracked. "This is ridiculous," she shouted. "You are humiliating me because of a maid and her criminal brother." Lucas turned slowly. "Do not speak about them that way again." The ballroom fell silent. His voice was not loud, but the anger in it was unmistakable. Lucas faced Deshawn. "Can you restore the video?" "Yes, but I need the power back and access to the main server." "I'll take you." Seraphina grabbed Lucas's arm. "You're leaving me here to help them. I'm finding out who tried to destroy my company." He removed her hand and led Amara and Deshawn toward the control room. Evan followed, insisting he wanted to help. Amara did not trust him. Inside, Deshawn restarted the system. Rows of monitors flickered back to life. The recording was copied from Amara's phone into a temporary broadcast cache, he explained. Warren deleted the visible file, but the server keeps recovery fragments. "How long?" Lucas asked. 10 minutes. Evan stood near the door watching the progress bar. Amara noticed his hand slipping into his jacket. "Lucas." Evan pulled out a small remote and pressed a button. Smoke burst from the server cabinet. Sparks exploded across the room. "You idiot!" Lucas shouted. "You could burn the ballroom." "That is better than going to prison," Evan replied. He grabbed Amara and pressed a broken piece of metal against her side. Lucas froze. "Let her go." Evan dragged her toward the service staircase. "You always got everything," he said bitterly. "The company, the board, father's respect. I got a name and an allowance. So you sold access to my systems." I took what should have been mine. Seraphina appeared in the doorway. For a second, Amara thought she had come to help. Then Seraphina locked the door. Stop wasting time, she told Evan. Take the backup drive. Deshawn's eyes widened. There's another copy. The company stores an emergency backup beneath the stage, Lucas said. Only family knows. Seraphina smiled. Exactly. The truth became clear. Seraphina and Evan intended to copy the defense files, destroy the main systems, and force Lucas to transfer control of the company in exchange for the backup. Amara looked at Seraphina. You were going to marry him after this. I was going to own what mattered. Marriage was simply the easiest contract. Lucas stared at her as if seeing a stranger. Evan forced Amara down the staircase while Seraphina followed with the remote. Lucas and Deshawn came behind them, unable to risk a sudden move. They entered the dark space beneath the ballroom stage. Above them, hundreds of guests were being evacuated. Rows of cables surrounded a steel cabinet built into the foundation. Lucas entered a code. The cabinet opened. Inside was a black backup drive and a sealed red envelope marked with his father's handwriting. Evan reached for the drive. Amara suddenly drove her heel down onto his foot and twisted away. Lucas tackled him. The metal shard skidded across the floor. Seraphina grabbed the backup drive, but Deshawn blocked the stairs. Move, she warned. No. She raised the remote. A red light blinked on the wall. Lucas looked up in horror. That remote isn't for the server. Seraphina smiled. It controls the ballroom fire suppression locks. Steel shutters began dropping over every exit. Then smoke started pouring through the vents above the stage. And hundreds of guests were still inside. The steel shutters dropped halfway before Lucas lunged for the emergency panel. Deshawn, kill the remote signal. Deshawn tore open the control box beneath the stage and pulled out the wireless receiver. The red light on Seraphina's remote died, but the shutters kept descending on backup power. Above them, guests screamed as smoke spread across the ballroom ceiling. Amara grabbed the sealed red envelope from the cabinet. Your father left this for a reason. Lucas opened it. Inside was a note and a small brass key. If the company is ever betrayed from within, open the manual release beneath the east staircase. Trust the person who chose truth over fear. Lucas looked at Amara. You! They ran from beneath the stage while security restrained Evan. Seraphina tried to follow, but two guards seized her arms. Amara and Lucas reached the east staircase as the ballroom filled with smoke. Behind a carved panel, they found an old brass lock. The key turned. Every shutter reversed. Fresh air rushed inside as the main doors opened. Guests poured safely onto the terrace while the ventilation system cleared the smoke. There was no fire. Seraphina had released theatrical smoke from the event system to create panic while Evan stole the backup drive. But the plan had failed. Lucas returned to the ballroom holding the drive while Deshawn restored Amara's recording on the giant screen. This time nothing interrupted it. 300 guests watched Seraphina promise to sabotage Lucas's merger, Evan hand over the encryption key, and Warren explain how Amara would be framed for the breach. Then another clip played. It showed Seraphina planting company documents inside Amara's room and interfering with Deshawn's school account. Seraphina's confidence disappeared. This was supposed to be ours, she whispered to Lucas. No, he replied. You wanted everything I built, and you were willing to destroy innocent people to take it. He removed the engagement ring from her finger. Our engagement is over. Police arrested Seraphina, Evan, and Warren for conspiracy, fraud, attempted theft, and endangering the guests. The merger survived because the stolen files had never left the isolated backup system. A week later, Lucas publicly cleared Amara and Deshawn's names. He covered Deshawn's tuition only after Deshawn accepted a paid cybersecurity internship he had earned by saving the ballroom server. Amara was offered a permanent position in Harrington's ethics and security office. She accepted on one condition: every employee would have a protected way to report abuse without risking a job. Lucas agreed immediately. Months later, the same ballroom hosted a smaller event honoring the staff who had prevented the breach. Amara stood at the center of the room, no longer invisible. Lucas raised his glass to the woman who refused to stay silent when silence would have been safer. The applause that followed was not for wealth or status. It was for courage. Never mistake someone's uniform for the limit of their strength. The person others try hardest to silence may be the one carrying the truth that saves everyone. If Amara's courage inspired you, subscribe, share this story, and comment. Would you have exposed the video publicly or gone straight to the police?